Like if I were to just cup them lightly while we cuddle and fall asleep. I don't know why, but I always get the urge to do this when I'm cuddling a partner. Laugh out loud. Is this common with guys like this, or is it weird? Edit. Guys, I would ask first, not just throwing my hands down there all willy-nilly. Story 1. No, it's not weird. Likewise, men should be comfortable putting their hands down their partner's pants to keep them warm. Just the little things, you know. Story 2. My girlfriend in college would reach back when we were falling asleep sometimes, grab me and say, "Mine, good night." And she'd just hold it for a while. I loved it and I still think about it fondly. It's a nice memory. Story 3. Well, this is my time to shine. My girlfriend does this constantly and refers to it as cupping. I'm not really sure why she likes doing it, but she pretty much falls asleep doing it every night. Story 4. Personally, I enjoy it, and I have had at least one past girlfriend who would sometimes do it. The main issue is that they tend to interpret any movement as me wanting them to stop, so I shift ever so slightly, and they pull their hand back. Story 5. As a girlfriend, I do that to my partner sometimes. It's comforting, just like how he holds my breast when we're cuddling. Give and take, or give and receive in this case. Story 6. First, God bless you. Second, I've asked multiple partners for this very thing while cuddling up. Sure, it's sexual, but my main reason is that it feels like a nonverbal "I love you." It's intimate. Story 7. My love goes to sleep like this at least once a night. Took him a while, a few years, to feel comfortable asking me the first time. Now it's how we beat his insomnia. Sometimes it goes sex, fondle, sleep. Sometimes it's fondle, sex, fondle, sleep. And sometimes it's fondle then sleep just for the cuddles. We both love it. Story 8. Have had this done. It is very intimate in my opinion without being overly sexual. I kind of equate it to cupping a breast while holding a partner as the big spoon. I would never mind a partner doing this for me. Story 9. My ex used to find it quite fun to just cuddle up to me and play with my dangling bits. Before anyone asks, it was rarely an attempt to initiate sex. It was mostly an "I'm bored and they're right there" kind of thing. It was easy to tell the difference by whether or not she was wearing clothes when she grabbed my stuff. Story 10. No, and honestly, it feels amazing. My girlfriend did this when we started dating, and I'd never had it before. Now, if she doesn't do it, she says she can see me trying to hide my disappointment. Story 11. I hope not, because I love doing it. My boyfriend has never complained, and it's kind of comforting. It legitimately makes me fall asleep. It's a bit erotic but soothing, I think. Story 12. I knew a guy whose wife did it every single night as they fell asleep. So definitely not weird for some. Arguably not unlike cupping a breast, perhaps. Story 13. I mean, we all do the hold a boob, maybe a nipple in between some fingers, and we definitely hold the hand down below, so I don't see why not. We do, they do. Story 14. Not weird in the slightest. I've always loved when a woman did this. Only met a few who did. It wasn't even that sexual to me, just intimate. People seem to miss out on small intimate acts. I love nothing more than to fall asleep with a breast in my hand. It's just nice and sends me right off to sleep. Story 15. My girlfriend loves to hold on to the boys when she spoons me whenever we watch TV. She also likes it when I cup her breasts with my hands when I spoon her. Feels good. Not weird at all. Story 16. Depends on how cold your hands are. If this is a way to add intimacy to normal cuddle times, then great. If this is a dirty ploy to stick your frigid hands in the warmest spot you can find, then you are evil incarnate. Story 17. I was weirded out the first time. Never would I have thought before that a woman would be interested in it. But then I got used to it fast, and it's always just pleasant, to say the least. Story 18. No, it's not weird. It's awesome. My fiancée does this to me all the time, before, after, or during no sex at all. She loves to play with my private areas, even if we're just watching TV. Is this common for women to do? No. Only a few of my partners ever did this or something close to this. Most did not. My fiancé does it and I love it. Story 19. I've been with women who like to hold my belongings when we cuddle. I always told them, You can hold my belongings whenever you want, but if it pops up with a question, you better answer it. Story 20. I loved when my ex did this. When they held my balls, it felt like they were holding my heart. The closest thing to such a thing anyway. Makes you feel really loved. Story 21. My ex always tried, and I always just got excited. And she would get mad over that. Why can't I just hold your privates without you getting aroused? Sorry. Story 22. By reading the comments, I have deduced that we are a strange species. Things that taken at face value sound so gross, but in actuality, they are just normal stuff we do. However, if you say you like to do these totally normal things, someone is going to say, you know. And that's okay because we will have a great relationship with someone, and they will be forever alone. Story 23. Sounds lovely. I'm sure most guys would be super into that. This is probably going to turn them on, of course, in the cuddling phase and lead to sex. But after, it sounds really nice to have my woman's hands down there as we fall asleep. I like to cup a breast while drifting off. So same vibe there. Story 24. I would love this. Had it a few times, usually by my request. I wish it happened more often and naturally. Having my balls rubbed or held is such a relaxing and comforting feeling that I cannot put into words how amazing it feels. I'd love to have a stable partner who just did this whenever she wanted to. I'd swoon. Story 25. I do this all the time, and if anything, he's like, oh yes, and falls asleep after a long day. I call it ball scratchy time, and he's a happy man. Story 26. The problems start when you begin to fall asleep, your hand twitches, and you quickly make a tight fist. Not that I'm basing this on personal experience. Story 27. I mostly stroke him and gently cup it every time we lay down watching TV or anything. It's so comforting to me. My fiancé doesn't mind it. He said he never received that kind of attention until we met. Story 28. Nah, I hold my finances hand when I go to sleep, like a squishy handle. To be clear, he knows this and is completely fine if I touch him when he sleeps. Story 29. This is how it works for me. My lady does it to relax me. Yes, I begin a little excited by it. After a while, I'm very mellow. There are a bunch of times, though, that the act excites her, and let's just say she has much less self-control than I do. She also loves the level of control and is intrigued by the male parts. Overall, it's a good experience. You can't go wrong. Guys love tender attention without expectation. Story 30. My girl holds my penis while we cuddle frequently. Sometimes over the pants or shorts, or eventually direct contact. Sometimes she will just stroke it for a while and then we eventually fall asleep. I would say it's perfectly fine if you guys are officially dating. Just ease into it maybe at first. I love it, to be honest. Story 31. It's actually a lovely thing in my opinion. Our testicles are the most vulnerable part of our body. Cupping them signals a sense of protection, safety, and comfort. As a man, it feels good to feel like someone is protecting me for a change. Also, the warmth of the hand makes it feel relaxing, kind of like sleeping on a cold bed with a warm blanket. Story 32. I had a woman do this one time sleeping over at her house. It was one of the most comfortable sleeps I have ever gotten. I still think about it from time to time. I definitely recommend it. Story 33. It really helped my relationship. There was a time when my wife didn't want to have sex that often, and I felt pretty sad about that. One time during this period in our marriage, we were lying in bed to go to sleep and she reached over and started fondling my genitals, just holding them mostly. I honestly felt valued and gratified by it. I should say that prior to this point, she had discussed the desire to do something like that, but was afraid that she was also sending the message to me that she was open to having sex when she wasn't. We discussed it and I agreed that her touching me sexually was not an invitation for me to start trying to have sex with her, and I honestly think it strengthened our relationship to have that discussion and incorporate more non-committal sexual touching in our day-to-day lives. Story 34. Okay. I straight up asked my wife to do this. It's nice, to be honest. It's like when I cuddle her and hold her breast. My actual advice is to just ask them. It's better to have a conversation with your partner than strangers on Reddit. Story 35. I've got the biggest irrational fear or maybe instinct of always needing my testicles to be protected, so I've always asked to have my testicles held while cuddling. Story 36. There is an area of my skin that is always, and I mean always, itchy. The more I scratch it, the more it wants to be scratched, and not in an arousing way, it just feels amazing. I might be part dog. Story 37. I mean, I would straight up think you are asking for sex. I would definitely set expectations regarding cuddling versus sex before you make this move, or you are going to end up with a confused significant other. Story 38. Personally, I would find it a little strange because I am a straight male. I would wonder how I got myself in that situation, but seriously, I do not really like my balls played with. I do not like them sucked. However, just holding them and not massaging or moving does sound nice. It might be weird in the sense that it is unusual, but weird does not equal bad. Story 39. My girl does it, she doesn't ask, I like it, I might get excited, we both like it when I get excited. I might not get excited too. We both like it when it is just cuddling as well. So it all depends on the man himself, so maybe ask him if he likes it. Story 40. As long as the guy can fondle you back and it's consensual, it's not what I call normal, but everyone does unusual things, so is it really abnormal? To me, if you stick your hand down there, then it's only fair if I do the same. Story 41. I had a girlfriend that always wanted to cuddle with penetration. Me being the big spoon. Sticking my penis into her and not moving at all, preferably until she fell asleep. Just cuddling. You have no idea what stress this put on me. But to get to your question, it would be totally fine for most guys, I guess, if you were fine with it leading to sex every once in a while. Story 42. Whenever I spoon my girlfriend, I stick my hand down her pants and hold one breast, and occasionally kiss her neck. She does the exact same thing to me. Story 43. I find it so comforting when my love does this unprompted in a cuddle. Even just reading about it softens a part of me and makes me realize how much I ache to be securely held in that position. Story 44. I've done it, it depends on the guy. But I choose guys who are comfortable with that sort of thing. I don't think it's weird, but also I've been called weird. And being weird is not necessarily a bad thing. What's weird versus what should be are so subjective, and you can design your bubble however you like. Story 45. Hell no. My wife does it all the time and I love it. Ever watch a movie with your balls being held? Highly recommend, but probably don't want to do it in public. And ladies, watch your fingernails on the taint. Story 46. Would definitely like it. You can grab whatever you want when we're in bed, even if we're just cuddling. No need to ask. You just need to always remember that what you're doing might have some reactions from me or my body parts, and you better be ready for whatever comes after. Story 47. I think it's charming, and if he doesn't mind, it would be a wonderful bonding experience. Be prepared, though, it may start a reaction. Anything you do in love for each other is allowed. I wish I had a woman who could feel the way you do about your guy. Story 48. You can only do this if you ask, if you get him off beforehand, because this otherwise would give him discomfort. And some guys might not want your sweaty hand there in the summer because it's uncomfortable. Story 49. Well, my current girlfriend loves doing this when the warrior goes to sleep. Not sure how I feel about that, but I can't complain since I do the same thing with her breasts. Story 50. My wife does this to mine, even when I am asleep. When she does it softly, it's the most relaxing thing in the world. She doesn't even realize she is doing it. It's my favorite thing ever. Story 51. Yeah, it's weird, but not unwelcome. I don't think I've ever had an ex do that. It's kind of funny. I don't know how I would react if that ever happens. Story 52. Oh my God, how do I find a girl just like you, original poster, who likes to do this to me? I want it so badly. My ex did it sometimes, but I had to literally move her hand to my balls about 1,000,000 times. Story 53. I've never had it happen, but I'd be all about it. I do enjoy a good ball touch. But yeah, as others have said, that will wake me up. Maybe if it's right after we finish the deed, cup away. But otherwise, be prepared. Story 54. Man, my wife used to do the exact same thing to me, and then she would say, I don't want it, let's go to sleep. It drove me completely insane sometimes because how do you really sleep if somebody's hand is cupping right there? Story 55. I would probably be completely unable to sleep. Even making the huge assumption that arousal isn't going to become an issue, the stress of concern for accidental or even non-accidental crushing would keep me at mid to high alert at all times. This would be horrifically uncomfortable and would only be done as a favor to my partner. Story 56. I would be surprised, but I would not really mind. I usually like having my balls touched during sex. I am just not used to them being touched outside of it, but I am pretty sure I would enjoy it and that it would feel comforting. Story 57. I saw this Australian talk show where a woman was convinced by her husband for 3 years that he snores when he is on his back because his testicles block his anus. To try preventing this, he told her she should cup his testicles for him. Story 58. Personally, no. I prefer them to be cool. Having my balls held sounds uncomfortably warm. On a side note, keeping your balls warm harms sperm production. So if you're trying for kids, don't cup his balls at night. Story 59. I love it. The Johnson will want some attention, though. Luckily, the friend with benefits likes to play with them while we watch a movie after we make love, and that always leads to more intimacy until we both are exhausted. Best activity ever. Story 60. I don't like women, and I am a complete submissive to men, but I find cuddles and words of affirmation are the best. I think it's kind of weird if a guy held my balls, but I would let them. I don't care enough to enforce ball-touching rules. Story 61. I like this, but it is also kind of a frustrating tease if I have not gotten off recently, and she has no intention of escalating to some type of sex. Blue balls. Story 62. My girlfriend loves just sort of holding down there. I do the same thing with breasts, so I guess it's fair and square. Though sometimes I might not feel like having them held. Story 63. No, my partner absolutely loved it. I also used to hold his penis and balls while going to sleep. It was an ego boost for him and made him feel closer to me.